Okay, welcome everyone. So in this video we want to see how we can download the code for the course from this repository onto your computer and how we can start a Jupyter notebook. So you will notice that we have two types of notebooks in this course. One is the new and fun Pluto notebook. The other one is kind of the more traditional version, which is called a Jupyter notebook. So today in this video we're going to see how to run those notebooks. Okay, so I would suggest that you clone this repository by clicking here, getting the URL of this, clicking on the clipboard, and then running in a terminal, or you could also open it with GitHub Desktop, which is an application that runs on your computer. You basically want to get the code down to your machine. So I would do something like this. I have a terminal here. I would navigate to a certain directory. This is my home directory, and suppose I would then issue the command git clone. This is the URL of this repository that you see here, and then I could give it a name. I would give it local course or something. It would clone it to this. Okay, so we'll pull down all of this data, and then it's done. And then I could go into this directory on my computer, local course. Look around here. Okay, you can see that this is the exact same structure as what you see on the Git repository. So okay, so there's homeworks, Jupyter notebooks, lecture notebooks, slides, etc. So that is pretty much the same thing as is in here. Okay, so those are those folders, and so you have this this stuff now on your computer. Okay, so now we want to run a Jupyter notebook. How does it work? So you there's several ways. I would recommend that you do not go down the route of actually installing all the required tools to run Jupyter as a Python package on your computer, because that could be kind of involved. If you have a running Python installation, by all means, just go with that. If you don't, I would recommend that you do not worry too much about this, because starting it from Julia is actually really simple. So what you have to do, you have to go into the Jupyter Notebooks directory. Look what's here. So there's all the stuff. These are all my old notebooks, basically, that I've been converting into Pluto, but some of them are still here, and that's why we're using them. And so we're going to use those. You can see that there's a project TOML here somewhere in this list of files, so that's good. Let's see what's in it. So these are all the dependencies that you need in those notebooks. So I dumped them all in here, such that there's no issue of not being able to run one notebook or the other. Okay, so let's run one of those. The way this works is you start Julia in that location. You activate the project that's located in this directory, so that's why the dot is here. You can see now it switches to Jupyter Notebooks, which is the name of this of the directory, and so also of the environment. Again, let's look with status. I just typed st. You couldn't see that. I just typed st, and it gives me the list of packages, the status of this project. So what do I need in order to run this project? These are all the packages that I'll need. Okay, very good. Importantly, you can see there's this package called iJulia, which we'll need now to run the notebook server. So I do using iJulia, and then I can simply start a notebook server with the function notebook. I can say where it should start it. It should start it in the current directory, so directory is current directory. I do that, and you see that, so let me quickly go back to the terminal. You see that there's a process running now. You see, so the prompt doesn't return. This is my entire environment, so it dumps out all of these environment variables. But what it also does, it fires up a browser, and it shows you the content of this directory where you started it. So that was first the current directory. Now you see all of those Jupyter notebooks. By the way, you can see they have this file ending ipynb, which is an IPython notebook. So the format comes from Python. But you can run different engines with those. And so in our case, of course, there will be a Julia engine or a Julia kernel, as it's called. So let's you can pick any of those. Let's just try to start the function approximation notebook like this. You would just click on it. You could see the browser starting. You can see it's running a Julia kernel. You can see the symbol here. If the circle is full, it means it's busy. So it's starting up. It says kernel ready, and you're good to go. Okay. If there's any questions or problems with the kernel, you can always click here on kernel and see what currently is being run. So here are all the kernels available on my machine. So you can see you can clearly run Jupyter notebooks on a Python kernel or also an R kernel. It's all possible. And so in general, it's a really, I mean, it's a great format. I mean, it's a staple of data science, the Jupyter notebooks. So there's no question about it. And that's basically it. So these are cells. They have a certain type. So this is a markdown cell. If you double click into it, you go into edit mode and you can edit it. Okay, you execute the cell with Shift Enter, or you click on this run cell, select below. Okay, so it's going to evaluate markdown and print nice markdown. Where's some code? You go down. You can do math like usually. So this is just LaTeX with a certain delimiter. So the double dollar means inline math. Okay, what else do we have? There has to be some code here. There's some code. So code is exactly the same. So you write Julia code and you hit Shift Enter in order to run the code and evaluate it. Okay. Now keep in mind one big difference between the Jupyter notebooks and the Pluto notebooks is this fact that the Jupyter notebooks, so what you're just seeing here, is like a script. It's like a global workspace. Okay, so it matters in which order you run stuff. So you define something here like this function and it does something. Further down, if you redefine the function, this old definition is gone. Okay, and so that's not the same in Pluto. In Pluto, as you know, you cannot do that. You can define a variable only once. If you want to change it, you have to go up and change it. Okay, so this is slightly different and maybe confusing in the beginning, but that's it. That's all I wanted to say in this little video, and I talk to you soon.